everyone, I'm Mel the Physio, and welcome to another episode where we're going to talk about a really important, crucial part of our body which often gets overlooked, and that is your feet. The feet are an important factor in balance, posture, overall mobility, as well as even reducing lower back pain. So foot health is really important, and that's what we're going to look at today. Each foot is made out of 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. They all work together in creating the perfect motion, the perfect stability, moving through life, wherever you're going. They're going with you, and that's how it starts. And then when something goes wrong, for example, if you're having issues with flat feet, or if you're having there's maybe imbalances in the hip, there might be limping going on. You may have issues with knee pains. It can cause a chain reaction, So the feet are an important part. Every time that I see a patient, I'm always checking what the feet posture is, the foot posture is, how you're standing, how you're walking. These are very important because it's the contact we have from our body to the ground. So you might have also issues with footwear, change in footwear. Maybe you're breaking in a new shoe, or you have a really old shoe where the support has gone. That may cause issues with our feet and cause injury. And in today's episode, basically, we're going to dive into why foot health matters, the common mistakes that people make in not really looking after the feet and not really, taking care of what it means to have good foot posture, or why it's important. You're basically going through life, you're just putting your socks and shoes on, or you're just going around in your flip-flops. You're not even thinking about your feet. So I'm going to just talk about why that is important, to take a bit of notice about your feet, also because there are issues that you can have which can be a bit annoying, but then also can be really painful, that you can't even step on. So it is really important to have a look at that. It is really important to have a look at your feet, because even if you're an athlete, or you're on your feet all day, or you're just really interested in health and well-being in general, and this is one part you may have not looked into, we're going to have a talk about why, how, causes, what you can do to take care of your feet. Most of us go around each day without even thinking about our feet, Like I said before, we're using them all the time, but are you really thinking about what's happening there, or are you taking good care of your feet? If you've been on your legs all day, do you really go home and stretch and relax your feet? A lot of us don't really. But when there's an issue, and it might be an annoying issue, or it might be something where, oh my God, I can't stand, I can't walk, I can't move, what's going on? Then we start to pay attention to our feet, and we realize how much impact our feet really have. So like I said before, because the foot and ankle is so complex, we have 26 bones, you have 33 joints and hundreds of muscles, and you have the nerves, and we have also the ligaments, tendons, blood circulation, all going into those two, structures that we have, which are the feet. So it's really complex. And being that complex, of course, comes with there could be potential issues. So all of these structures, remember, that work together in a mechanical way to give us support, balance, movement, agility. Those feet, the 2 feet you have, carries your weight, all of your weight throughout the day. So whether you're hiking, walking, running, standing all day, sitting, getting up, moving around, those 2 feet are taking your whole body weight. And with changes of posture and movement and the complex 3D things that we have going on all day, dancing in the evening, you're going with your friends, you're going to the beach. The feet are doing, that's the connection we have with the ground. So there's so much going on there. And it's so complex. It's actually really nice when you think about it, how the mechanics work, and how, our body is just so amazing that way, that the way it moves and the way it's been designed so that we can just do all these things. So in general, like I said before, the foot is so complex that can come with a lot of issues. So it can be to annoying things to really debilitating things where you really can't move. You have to go to the doctors and you realize how important the feet are. You can have, for example, skin issues, which could be fungal or viral infections. You can have painful structural problems such as bunions or hammer toes. Of course, there are sports injuries, trauma, which I'm going to go into detail further, but also like ingrown toenails or painful joint issues. Your feet can give you also clues about your general health, and also how your body's doing. For example, stiff joints in your feet can give you an idea, okay, maybe there's also further joint issues like arthritis. So if you're having all the joints are hurting and it's swollen, then okay, maybe I can have some multiple joint issues like arthritis, inflammations that can happen in the joints. If you have swelling, for example, in the foot, it can be an indicator for maybe high blood pressure, kidney issues, or any cardiac disorders that you might want to check into. So the feet are really good indicators for that. Also, if you're having numbness in your feet and only in your feet, or some kind of tingling, burning, or nerve damage, it can often is a sign of things like diabetes. So people who have diabetes, the doctor will always tell you take extra care of your feet because you don't have that feeling. You might have numbness or sensitivity loss in your foot, so you really don't want to get injured because also healing will take longer. So these are further to, if you're having any of these issues, or if you further want to clarify certain things, you can always go to your GP, or podiatrists are usually specialist doctors for ankles and feet. So they will have the answers that you're looking for if you're having any of these problems. So now we're going to go over to the relevance that feet have with physiotherapy. Foot injuries are common problems that we see all year round, and one of the most common musculoskeletal issues that are treated by physiotherapists. So it could be in developmental stages, like with kids, with children, children going through puberty. You might have issues there with your feet, which I'll go into more detail. You have in rehabilitation, after surgery, you have to go to a physiotherapist regarding your feet. If you have neuro conditions or any kind of stroke where you have spasms, which relates into the feet as well, there you go to physio too, and any other related injuries, sports injuries, and things like that. So physiotherapists have to treat a multiple variety of foot injury, and because of various issues. And so it is important to have a bit of understanding with what goes on. So in my clinic, when I see patients, I'm always looking at their feet first. So even if you come in with a back pain to see me, knee pains, hip pains, whatever it is, I get you to stand and I have a look at how your posture is. That's the first thing a physiotherapist should do, where you check how a person is standing, how they're walking, if they're having issues running, how they're doing those functional activities. So in the stance position, you'll see how you're standing. For example, I'll have a look in terms of feet. I'll have a look, okay, is the person flat-footed or do they have a good arch? How is the foot positioning? So that's what we call foot posture. So if it's more flat, you'll see also the knees caving inwards into an X formation. So that may be relevant to the issue you're having or not. That's the funneling system or the differential diagnostics that we have. So foot posture is very important. For example, like I said before, someone comes in, they have flat feet. Okay, check a look at their knees. We're going a step up. Okay, the knees are caving inwards to have X formation. Okay, then I'm thinking, okay, this person could be having hip strains because of that position and that posture, because of the flat feet. Okay, they're having back pain, makes sense. It could be related. So in treatment, I won't only treat the back pain, I'll also be treating the correct posture in terms of the knees and definitely the feet. and you always want to find out what is the original cause of an issue. So could it have been the flat feet? Could it have been any other issue? So posture really matters, and foot positioning also matters. So someone who has too much of an arch or less of an arch, or how are they standing with their feet lightly out or inwards, those all matter. There are also imbalances that you may see. So if you always look at the left and right side. So when someone's standing in front of me, I say, okay, how are they standing? Is there more load on one side than the other? Because that could be relevant in terms of the pain that they're presenting. If they're saying, oh, I have pain on my right side, and then I see them putting more load on the right side, maybe there's a hip misalignment or something else, you're always thinking, where could it be coming from? And are there any relationships with the other joints, like with the hips, the knees, the back, and then to the feet? So you're always checking you're looking at the whole body. But in terms of, that's why feet are very important. So I always say, take off your shoes, socks. I want to see the feet, because I want to see those are the ones that you're standing on all day. Even if you're a bit conscious about your feet, never mind. It's really important, So now I've looked at foot posture. The next thing I'm going to look at is how strong are your ankles and how strong are your feet. So I'm going to be looking at, your stability. So the easiest way, we have many clinical tests, but the first one is a one-leg stance. Now, I worked in a football clinic where you have like 20 footballers where you have to assess, okay, in terms of prevention as well, but also if they're having injuries, you have to check all of those 20 footballers really quickly. So the one leg stance, so standing on one leg, is a very quick assessment tool to then see, okay, where is there a instability or where is there a weakness there? Like if you're standing on one leg and you're wobbling in the upper body, it's like, oh yeah, maybe you should train your core more. It could lead to injuries, maybe. Or if that person is standing, the core is really steady and strong, your hip is also really strong, knees wobbling, ankle is also strong, then you can say, okay, go train your knees, because I think it might be an issue when you're doing your sport. If, on the other hand, you're standing very steady, your knees are wobbling, but not as much, but the ankle is gripping, the toes are gripping the ground, and okay, there may be weakness in the ankle. There might be a little instability. And then we do further checks into that. And then you could be like, okay, you're doing strengthening for the ankle. You need to strengthen that. You do need to do balance, strength, coordination, agility training for the ankle so that you prevent any injuries onto the foot. So in clinic, I do the same. It doesn't always have to be for athletes, but in clinic, it's very easy. Stand on one foot, have a look at what wobbles, and then you see, okay, it looks like the feet are really unsteady, like the left more than the right, or there might be the same on both sides. So you can see that definitely, and you can video it and then do the exercises and video it again so that you can see improvements also. So these are clinical functional tests that you can do to check, a quick check for instability. There are also strength tests, for example, walking on tippy toes to see if you're able to do that. Heel walks, those are kind of strength tests where we can see, okay, how are the flexor groups doing? How are the extension groups doing? And then there's different inward, outward movements that we can do strength tests for as well. So this is to assess strength. And then you can see, okay, this person maybe needs to strengthen one side more than the other, or you can see they're not very steady on the one side than the other. So this gives you a clearer picture, actually. And gives you then more information than when you're training as well. So it's really useful to know this, because then you know, okay, this is what I have to work on. Then we have the sensitivity reflex tests for if you're having any neurological issues, like the nerves, if there's any injuries with the nerves going into the foot. For example, if you have loss of sensations, if you're having a drop foot, suddenly your foot, you can't raise it, or if you're also like having any other conditions which affects the feet in the sensitivity part, like you don't have feeling, it could be coming from the back for sure, but you still need to check the feet itself. So if there are reflex tests you do, sensitivity tests that are in clinic that you can do. So if you're having that numbness or tingling for some, you've had it for a week or more, you best check it with a physio or a doctor, to check where it's coming from. Is it from the feet, or is it from higher up, from the back or something like that? So you can make sure that you get that healed or the right kind of exercises or rehabilitation program for that. Then another important part, which I'm really passionate about, is gait analysis. Gait analysis is like a really important part, not only in analyzing, but also in training. What that means, what is gait analysis? So what does that mean? So gait is how we walk, how humans walk, the patterns we have when we walk. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail, although I'm really passionate about this, but there's going to be otherwise like a science lecture. Basically, it's like how you walk through life, really. Your heel first contacts on the ground, then you have a steady stance, then you roll off, and then you move into a stride form. I mean, it's a very well-documented kind of analysis of how we walk. So if we know the pattern, we can see if there's anything off, So if you're having any issues, I'm going to make you walk up and down, and I'm going to either film it. Like some people have bigger tools where they can do 3D analysis. Some clinics, you can check it, like you can measure it exactly to the T, how much force you're doing and everything. But in normal clinic, like in a normal clinic form, you can video it. And then you can see, okay, when I'm walking, how's my foot positioning, So like the initial contact we call the heel contact. So where the heel touches the ground, and then, and so forth. So it is a big part of physiotherapy, because if you're having, so like, for example, like I said before, development, like for example, I have so many children who come to see me, parents who bring their kids to me because they're having tippy toe walk, so they only are walking on their tiptoes, and they need to learn how to do the gait properly. So have that heel contact. Then I have children who come with inward in toes, out toe gaits, So something that's not in the norm gait walking that we have. You have certain developmental issues which come in the pediatric side of physiotherapy. So you have the tippy toe gait, inward, outward gait. You have the pigeon toe walk. And also I see that in puberty as well, as you have that growth spurts. Sometimes there are developmental issues in the feet there as well. So physiotherapy plays a crucial part. You can give good exercises for children and for teenagers to correct that, so that you're not getting strains as you grow, and you're not getting injuries coming on in as we grow in age. So you can correct that with simple exercises. Also, we have gait analysis after surgery. So you would have gone, if you've had a surgery, you have to go to the physio. They'll have a look at your walk. Maybe they'll correct certain things. They'll reteach you how to do the walking as well. So gait training is very important that way for the feet. And also, like I said before, post-stroke or any other neurological issues, you'd have to, like Parkinson's or MS, you'll have to also relearn how to, or get that gait training in, because again, if you're not having a good walk, you're going to have issues with imbalance. Your contact is not as steady. So this is the contact we have with the ground. So if you're not getting those things right, you're going to face a lot of issues with it. So that's why the analysis is really important of how you're walking, because then you can find out what the issues are, and then you can train it as well. So I also do another thing with athletes or kids, or, in general, my runners who do marathons, which is the running analysis. So I take my trampoline, I get them to jog on, or we go run, like they film themselves running, or I have a look at their run. And there you can see as well what the foot is doing. Sometimes it can be that they're taking a lot of energy in the technique that they're doing, or they're getting injured, they're spraining their ankles often. So that's where we can really see things when you actually do the function, and then you can video it, or you can analyze it with the help of a professional or a coach, and then you can see where the issues are or the instabilities are, train that up, and then you don't have those issues anymore. When you look at the feet, of course, the injuries that we've looked at, which are mechanical, which are relevant for physiotherapy, could come from many things, like trauma, for example. That's the easiest one. I mean, that's the most, I mean, that's, you know, okay, if you have an accident, you can injure your foot. You can get fractures, you can get sprains, you can get dislocations, you know? So tendon, ligament strains, those are because of a trauma. So that's one injury. You can have overuse injury. So you can have a stress fracture because of consistent load onto that joint. A tendinitis, a repetitive injury of the tendon. So like plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendinitis, those are very common kind of injuries that happen. Plantar fasciitis is a very, very common injury, very easily treated. But again, because it's a tendinitis, like I spoke about in the previous episode on tendon issues, it takes some time, you know? So those are overuse injuries in the foot. Then you get, like if you have underlying conditions like arthritis or a neuropathy, bursitis, or a metatarsalgia, that's kind of an injury within the foot as well. Those are kind of underlying other conditions which add on to foot injury too. And then you have other factors like, you know, age. As the older you get more issues with the feet. That is there. And of course, the weight matters. So the more weight you have on, the more load it has on the feet. And so then you can expect any foot injuries to take longer, but also you can get stress injuries or repetitive injuries coming on to the feet as well. Activity levels. So if you're very, very, like you have a high activity level and you're not taking breaks as well, you can also get foot injuries. Similarly, if you've not been active and you suddenly start and you're starting in a high intensity rather than building up slowly, you can get foot injuries as well. Footwear. So footwear is a very, very important thing as well. I see all my patients coming in with these really cool shoes or flip-flops, or they're just, you know, I mean, they're doing things on the treadmill barefoot, or, you know, I mean, the thing is, it's the intensity that matters, but footwear is a very important part. For example, flip-flops have been like the more you wear flip-flops also, it's not really healthy for the feet, you know? So you can wear flip-flops, it's just not all the time. I see some people coming in with these cool, beautiful sandals, but there's no profile under. It's thin, you know? So that impact all day. I've gone to PETA, I've gone shopping, I've gone to the market, all in this tiny heel. I mean, yeah, you're going to have issues with your foot, you know? Or similarly, you wear these really beautiful heels, you know? The center of gravity changes, there's more load on the front part of the foot, there's imbalances over time, so even high heels cause a lot of problems as well. And similarly, narrow shoes. So if you have pointy shoes, if you have the coolest, like formal wear shoes, the pointy in the front, dapper looking, but they're going to cause issues with your, structurally with your feet, more compression in the front, pressure at the back, you know. So these are going to long-term cause you problems with your feet and toes. So that's why having good footwear is also key. Like I say, you know, now you get really nice orthotics, you get very good kind of orthopedic footwear, which are now more stylish. I know that those days it was kind of, you know, doesn't look so nice. Or some people, they say, how can I wear sneakers to work? But now you have really nice ones that you can even wear, you know, if you're smart casual wearing, you can wear kind of really good quality shoes as well. So what can you do to keep your feet healthy? So strengthening is a really important part. So that's where a physiotherapist will come in, or a good coach will come in to help you, guide you with certain strengthenings you can do with your feet, or to help them get stronger, your ankles and feet. If you know, oh, I sprain my ankle often, or oh, I have I don't feel so very steady on my feet. Yeah, you can do simple exercises to help strengthen, get a bit more range, not feel so stiff. You know, there are things you can do for that. Get help sooner rather than later with the physiotherapist, podiatrist, or your doctor. You know, get your foot analyzed as well. There are now, you know, foot analyzing places, let's say, where you can check, you can stand on a pad, they will check, okay, how flat are your feet, or how good is your positioning, they'll check your posture. And then according to that, they might make you insoles if need be. If you need insoles, then you can do that as well. So to help give you an arch, or you have now really good sports shoes that are specially made for flat-footed people, so they have a better supporting shoe rather than just any shoe, so now there's a lot more there where you can really take good care of your feet. Foot posture awareness is really important, being aware that you're on your feet all day. So take good care of those feet and be aware of how you're walking. Are you just putting pressure on all the time, or are you engaging your core and then lifting your body up so you're not having too much pressure on your feet? And again, I don't mean to highlight this so much, but having good shoes, like wear good shoes. Doesn't matter if you're in sports shoes all day, or if you're having really good support underneath. Like, it's worth it. It's worth it because now they make these amazing shoes, which is like you're in space. It's like moon boots, so you're just like floating around. So try to not be on these hard, like having no support kind of shoes. Your feet are so important. You need to like treat them well. I'm on my feet all day, so I really know what I'm talking about, because it makes such a difference when I'm wearing my sports shoes and when I'm not, so I noticed that. And someone who's on their feet all day, you notice the difference. Just put on a good, comfortable pair of sneakers and wow, it makes a huge difference. That's high load on the feet. Make sure you're getting stretches in. Maybe take a tennis ball and roll your foot on. I'll show you after. Get a bit of massage in the feet, get a bit of blood circulation. And, some people do like Epsom salt baths. These are all feel-good things. Hot, cold showers, where you get the circulation on your feet going. Stretches are very important. And again, core engagement. Now, from me, I taught you over the past episodes how important the core is. The core being engaged means less load on your feet, because you're engaging your muscles and you're doing strength work through the upper part, so you're not loading your feet as much. So we often take our feet for granted until something goes wrong. But as we've seen today, foot health is about much more than just avoiding pain. Strong, well-supported feet lay the foundation for a better posture, improved balance, and overall mobility, So taking care of your feet should be a priority. So what's the next step? Start with small changes. Choose supportive footwear, strengthen your foot muscles, pay attention to any discomfort you may be feeling, and get help sooner rather than later before it turns into a bigger issue. Your feet are the ones that carry you through life. Let's make sure that they are strong and stable and ready for the journey. So thanks for joining me today on Mel the Physio. And remember, healthy feet means a healthier you. It is really important that those 2 feet are like taking a brunt of the work. So these are going to long-term cause you problems with your feet and toes. Wait, I know I was looking at your shoes. So now okay.